and we're here to change the world through innovation. We're not here to just follow the rules, make money, and retire. My name is Adam Murphy, and I'm the president and founder of Sourceree. I've started, owned, managed, operated, and failed at 5 businesses today, each one being more valuable than the previous in experience and lessons learned. And it's gotten me here to where I am today. Many small companies shrug off setting values, setting strategies, setting goals, and really taking the time to define where they want to be. And us at Sourceree, we embrace it. We use it as our guidepost for when we're evaluating whether or not we should go after new work, what work we should go after, or whether we should keep doing the work that we are. We come back to these. It enables us to really pride ourselves in the highest levels of integrity that we value ourselves at, and that we come to work with a purpose every day and constantly innovate. It allows us to help organizations succeed through the magic of innovation. And those organizations being the United States government and commercial industries in the areas of military readiness, applications, as well as trusted intelligence throughout the community. An example of innovation in what we do is this slide here. Just recently, a few weeks ago, we decided that we're no longer going to come to presentations with just simple slide decks or go to pitch new customers with just different ideas. We're going to turn it into comic books. Everywhere we go, we're going to take a unique comic that we can leave with everybody that describes what we're trying to do and where we're at and what we're about. And focus on the capabilities that we're good at, which you can see here on the right-hand side. Those being military readiness, data collection and gathering, all facets of supply chain intelligence in the new area of technology protection, which is the integration of operational, financial, and cybersecurity. But you can also see at the same level we treat community outreach because we trust it and we keep it as a value. A value because if the community is going to thrive, then we're going to thrive, and we can't thrive without a thriving community. So we do everything we can. We give back. You'll see us everywhere. We do a lot. We do as much as we can for everyone. And it may seem like quite a list of disparate services that we're here to provide, and you're probably wondering how all these make sense together. We're trying to be, and our goal is to be the world's leading expert in counterproliferation. Counterproliferation is stopping the acquisition of arms-controlled weapons to those that shouldn't have them. So yes, we're trying to stop terrorists from having nuclear bombs. And we're also trying to stop third world countries from getting weapons of mass destruction. And how are we going to do this? Through innovation. Innovation's tough. We've grown up and we've been taught that to be a leader, we need to do the stuff on the left-hand side to be able to get shit done and do our jobs. When in reality, as a leader, to grow 10 times and to grow fast, we have to do what's in the right-hand side. We have to associate. We have to put things together that necessarily wouldn't be put together. But to figure those out, that's how we get to where we're going to go. You don't wake up in the morning thinking you're going to put a little piece of glue on a little piece of yellow paper and think you're going to be the next best thing since sliced bread. It takes real drive, it takes motivation, it takes perseverance to come up with that next generation idea. And it just doesn't happen overnight. So at Sourceree, we're doing 3 things to encourage innovation. The first is build a culture, establish a culture. Second is to be curious. And the third is to act different, to think different. So no major feat of innovation was ever planned. It just happened. It happened because the culture was established to let it happen. And at Sourceree, we recognize that life happens and work is a part of that life. It's not the other way around. So at Sourceree, we plan lunch. We shop for it, we prepare it, Jackson cooks it, we all eat it together, and we all clean it up together. You don't get that type of collaboration just going to Chipotle every day for lunch. But if we had Chipotle at Evansburg, we would definitely go there at least once a week.
Yeah.
We could also hire a paving company to come fix our potholes. But instead, we decided to go out and get 3 bags of cold patch and see how far we could make it, and it wasn't enough. Obviously, for the potholes in Pennsylvania, you need at least 10 bags. We also participate in community events, we network, and then we establish traditions, like on the right-hand side. Every year, we take everybody from the company to the Preakness. It lets the veterans all day long teach the younger generation and who's coming to work for us how to bet on horses. And they revel in their successes, and they also share in their failures, and they learn from that and they go forward. Who remembers these commercials? It's two independent cultures. It's the Apple versus the PC, or the Mac versus the PC. Two extremely different cultures, two extremely different goals, and two way different outcomes. While Microsoft continues to innovate in the Office application space and operating systems, Apple has been able to not only innovate in their main industry of the PC, but think of all the other markets that they've been able to create, innovate, and continually stay at the top. The second thing we do at Sourceree is we're curious. Curiosity is the desire and the will to try something new. Inside our culture, we've created a safe place that you can ask questions positively and question what everybody else is doing. And if you're wondering how to be curious, spend an hour with a 4-year-old. You want to answer the question why more times than you've ever thought you would in your entire life. But at the end of that hour, it's going to make you realize that you actually do need to question yourself all the time. And when you do question yourself, you come up with different outcomes than you originally started. And if you fail to be curious, you might find yourself on this list of organizations that innovated at one time and were at the top of their market and then failed to continuously innovate and are now just struggling to survive. Instead of hearing the beeps we hear all day long when we get email coming into Outlook, we could be hearing "you've got mail," but we don't. Third, we need to act different to think different. There's not been a superb world leader that isn't unique. And to stand out and to achieve your goals, you have to be unique. A friend of mine thought it'd be funny that if he would buy a bike my size and leave it in the office, it would be a funny gesture and people would make fun of me. Well, it was funny, but it's also something that ride around the office to get from one place to another, it's a little quicker than walking. And it just breaks the ice sometimes. So to think different, there's nothing better that establishes this more than the Crazy Ones marketing campaign from the 90s. While Bill did not make this list, he could easily stand up there with some of these guys that did not fit in. They were misfits, they didn't follow the rules, and the thing that they did not do was they did not believe in failure. So even though they didn't follow the rules or respect the people before them, they were able to change the world in their own unique way. And that's exactly what we're trying to do at Sourceree. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world actually do. And that's what we're trying to do on our path to be the world's counter-proliferation experts. So I remind you of the 3 things we're doing at Sourceree. We're establishing culture, we're being curious, and we're acting different to think different. So I encourage you to figure out how you are going to change the world. And then I encourage you to reach out to us and tell us your story about it.